Hello, Year 9. I hope you're all safe and well and enjoying the lovely weather that we have at the moment. So this is lesson 2 of your portraiture and Patricia Ariel. And what we're going to do today is add a symmetrical insect to your portrait. You will know what I'm talking about because you will have seen her work, because you obviously did the artist research, and the image that you were looking at had quite a symmetrical dragonfly in the middle of her face. So we're going to do something similar to our work today. What I do want you to do before you carry on with what I'm about to do is you will hopefully see from this video that I have gone over some of the features of the face in black. It's really important that you do this in black biro, so that's like a just a normal writing pen, so a black biro and not a fine liner. And I say that because within the next lesson or the one after, so within one of the following lessons, you are actually going to be painting onto it. So if you're if you use a fine liner, basically it will run, so it will go like a paint, and we don't want that. So what you need to do is to, like what I've done, go over the eyes, the eyebrows, the nose and the mouth, basically exactly what you've drawn, but only those features in black biro. Leave the outside, the shape of the face and the ears and the neck. Don't go over those. Really important, because you might not need those, or you might need part of it, but at the moment you will have not made that decision. So just the eyes, the eyebrows, the nose and the mouth. So if you go over those in black biro before we carry on, that would be brilliant. Okay, so perhaps put a pause on and then come back to me. Right, so what I'd like you to do, you don't need to draw exactly what I'm drawing in terms of the insect right now. You can choose your own. So basically, I'm seeing a lot of bees and wasps at the moment, so it kind of inspired me in terms of what I was looking at. So what I did in Google was I typed in a symmetrical bee drawing and just picked out one that I particularly liked. It doesn't have to be exactly the same in terms of what you've brought up, but it's for inspiration really. You don't have to do a bee. You could type in symmetrical insect drawing and you will come up with all sorts of things. There were loads when I had a look, absolutely loads. So things like dragonflies will come up, butterflies will come up, beetles, there'll be all sorts of things. So you make a choice. I just happen to have chosen a bee. So what you're going to do is you're going to draw a line, which hopefully you can just about see on mine. I've drawn a line with a ruler down the middle of, if you remember your grid reference, down the middle of 3, because that's halfway down. So literally that line coming down there, that is a line going down the portrait. Okay, so basically what I do to one side, I'm going to be doing exactly the same to the other side. Okay, just like you did with your portrait. So I'm going to start placing. So I'm not going to put much detail in at the moment. I'm going to place the bee. So I'm going to want the wings of my bee to come above my eyes. Okay. Where you put the wings, or if your insect has wings, for example, you need to decide at that point whereabouts on the portrait you'd want them to be. So, for example, a dragonfly wings might come across up here, or you might want to place the head of the insect here and the wings in here. It's up to you, entirely your choice. But with myself and thinking about the bee, what I'm thinking is I'd quite like the head of the bee up here, maybe the body here, or part of the body, and then maybe coming down into the nose, in which case you can have those very little legs that they have coming down into the face. That's what I'm thinking anyway. Let's see what happens. So now I've decided where I want to actually place things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the body and where I want the wings to go. But remember, what I'm doing to one side, I'm going to do to the other. I'm not putting any detail in at the moment, exactly like you did with the portrait. We're just placing things, okay? So I'm going to have quite a circular body, part of the body, coming here. Okay, it won't look like this at the end, I'm just placing, okay? I'm going to have the head coming here. Now this is not particularly circular, but you will notice that what I'm drawing, that side, I'm now going to draw that side. So you can see, hopefully, that we're symmetrical. Now the bee has these eyes, lovely big beautiful eyes. As much as bees and wasps can be quite scary, they have the most beautiful features. You might think I'm bonkers saying that, but when you kind of look up the insects that you want, you will see they do have beautiful features. Now, this is quite good that I've done this wrong, because you can see that this is not entirely symmetrical. And I'm going to rub it out and start again. And this is how precise I want you to be. So that line going down the middle there, hopefully you can see that I've drawn that eye there. It comes quite close to that middle there. I am way off there. Okay, so I'm going to rub out that eye. I'm going to draw the outline again, because I've rubbed half of that out as well. So let's get that back on there. Okay, so now I'm going to go symmetrical. This is looking better already, okay? That's better. So can you see I'm far more symmetrical there? Okay, now I quite like the thought, purely because I've seen it actually on the illustration that I'm looking at. Within that part of the body, it's really subtle. There's almost like a heart in it, and actually I quite like that. So I'm going to get that going in there. Okay, just as a bit of an outline. So I've still got my body, part of my body. You'll see in a minute how it changes. Just there. Now I'm going to get the bottom half of the wasp or bee, or it's a bee actually, coming into the bottom of the nose here. Now this is where you'll see things slightly changing. Right now I'm working in, if we're looking at coordinates, I'm working in 3, 4, so 3, 4. That's not to say you have to, unless you're actually doing this one, okay? But I'm going to go down that side, and I'm going to come into the bottom of my nose. You see there? And I'm going to do the same that side. Right down there. I'm going to come into the bottom of my nose. Bear in mind that what you're doing right now, you're doing it in pencil right now, but it's going to end up in pen. So this is all going to link in really nicely. Now, I think you'll agree we've got kind of like the middle here. And this would work similar actually if you had chosen a butterfly, for example. We have kind of like a similar middle. So the wings of the bee are going to come out here, okay? So I'm working at the moment, if you're interested, in coordinates 4, 3. And I'm going to come up now. With regard to this, the portrait stayed within 5, 7. But for the purposes of this, we're now going to come out of it. I'm going to come out. And down. Down here. And here. Oh, you can hear my dog and my daughter there. I've been for a walk. And here we go. We've got like the wings. That's a panting dog being out for a really long walk. There we go. There's one wing there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same the other side. So I'm going to go up here. So that wing there, I started off in 4-3. To be symmetrical, I'm now going to work in 2-3. And I'm going to try and keep it completely symmetrical. So what I'm doing is I'm thinking about where we're going here. So let's come with that there. And we're going to go up to there because it goes to the top of that line there. So we're going to go to the top of that line there. And we're going to come down. Sometimes if you find it quite easier, you can literally work out, if you come like here, just to see where it hits, kind of like there. So I'm going to come down to there. You can rub out your numbers afterwards if you've got your numbers still on there. Down. Let's throw this one up. Comes into here. Symmetrical. To the side of the face. And then there we go, symmetrical. There. Okay. So I have got my wings. Now I'm going to get these hairy little legs in, except they're not going to look hairy at the moment. So they are going to come from the second half, there's the bottom half of the bee. So we're going to work out where we want them. Now they're going to interfere with the eye, okay, but that's absolutely fine. So I'm going to come down here, hopefully you can see what I'm doing there. And I'm going to put almost like, I'm not actually drawing on the eye, but the leg would then come out here. And the little legs are in sections. So then it would have another leg, part of the leg rather. Coming in here. And they're almost like little pincers that come here. So there's that one. That's going to end up looking hairy. This is just an outline at the moment. Excuse the noise of the dog in the background. And then you're going to do exactly the same thing, the other side. Down into the eye. Through the eye, except I'm not actually drawing. Down to, remember, we're thinking symmetry. It's along that line there, at the bottom of 4. And up through there. Okay, then what we're going to do is have the bottom part of the leg that we drew there. I'm putting that ruler there so I know where I'm going. Yep. And we're going to have the pincer. There. Okay, so there's that leg there. We're going to have another one coming down here because they tend to have another little leg here, and exactly the same way they tend to be in sections. I'll do this one rather large. Like I say, we're going to actually draw details into it. There we go. Sorry, I'm just laughing because I can see my husband dancing in the background. There we go. Little pincers on this one here. There. So what we're going to do is we're going to do exactly the same, the other side. So there we go. I'm trying to get this really symmetrical. Anyone that knows me And you will know if you spoke to the year 11s and the year 10s actually, they know that I just love symmetry. I love it. I don't know why, but I just find it awfully calming having that symmetry involved. So, we've got some more little legs there. Now, we would have some up here too. Little arms, legs, I don't know what you call them actually. Down here. And then we're going to come up to the top of, in fact, what are we? We're in 4. I'm about to go up to the border of 1. And in fact, that's a good place for thinking about the fact I'm going to make the other side symmetrical. If I stop at the 1 on that little ledge there, I can think about where I'm going now. So here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come up. And come down here. Actually comes in a little bit there. And the reason I said I was going to stop at the line there is it's a good place for me to know that I'm going in the right place. Got those cute little arms, lovely. Then I'm going to come out because we've got almost like antennae. I don't know if that's what we call them on a bee, but I'm going to call them that. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I'm going to come all the way over there, I think. And I'm literally, like I say, we're going to add details. So I'm literally going to come like that. And the details will arrive later. So there's one side. And come slightly out. It's really important actually, I'm noticing this now. I sharpened my pencil just before I did this, really important, because already I can feel that it's becoming blunt again. And when you're drawing something with lots of detail, it's really important that you have a sharp pencil. How sweet does that look? Really gorgeous. So I've got my outline, and this is where I can start to draw some of the details in. So for example, with a bee, you're going to get these lovely horizontal lines. Horizontal lines coming in there. And remember, whatever I'm doing to one side, I'm doing to the other. On the other. Now I'm going to start to put in, I'm thinking about the honeycomb. So I'm thinking about the honeycomb and the bees. So I'm going to, if you think about the shape of the honeycomb, let's think it's 6 sides, isn't it? So it's a hexagon. So I'm going to draw a hexagon from the middle. Let's see if I can get this right. It's been a long time since I've drawn a hexagon. There you go, symmetrical. Okay, and I'm going to do the same in here. Remember, I'm using that line down the middle for the centre. And in fact down here, because we've become quite narrow, I'm going to make it into circles. And you'll notice, hopefully, that what I'm doing to one side, I'm doing to the other. And for you guys out there that like football, this is probably reminding you of an actual football in terms of the shapes used. So I'm looking at this now, I'm quite pleased with this now, in terms of those shapes used. Actually looking at it, I'm going to carry on to the end with those, okay. In terms of the middle, this is where I can start to bring in whatever details I want, to be quite honest. And actually I'm feeling, just on this really gorgeous sunny day, I'm going to carry on with that nature theme, and I'm going to do a flower. So petals there, and I'm doing, remember I've done one petal there, so I'm going to become symmetrical. And I'm going to bring in the other petal there. I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to stay within the heart. And we're going to have one here. That's going to come into the heart shape. This actually worked out quite well. You'd even thought I'd have planned this, wouldn't you? And I'm going to bring in actually a little petal that side and that side, just because I think it works quite well. I'm going to bring that heart shape in again. So you can see it there. But remember, the actual body itself is round. I've just brought that heart shape into it. There we go. So I'm going to bring in little features there. Okay, so you can see they've been symmetrical there. In terms of the legs, I'm going to bring in the little lines like I have in the body. Neaten that up in a little bit. And I'm going to leave these bottom ones just as they are for the moment. Let's go over the outline so you can see it. But these ones I'm going to leave as they are for the moment. I'm going to leave that top bit for the moment. Just going to go over them a little bit darker so you can see them. Now these bits here, I'm going to fill those with little circles. I'm going to do the same to that side. Okay, and like I did with these ones here, I'm going to leave these ones empty for the moment. And then I'm going to go up here. I'm going to bring in a little circle here. It's almost like an elbow. And do the same that side. In fact, you can tell I've not been symmetrical there because one is higher than the other. So I'm going to make that one a little bit higher. So I'm going to rub that out. Let's bring that arm back in. And actually that circle would be more like there to bring it in line with that one. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do with that part. Okay, and this I'm going to section off. And what I do to one, I'm going to do to the other. I'm actually going to section. Actually going to section like those there. Okay, and with regard to the wings, this you can be as creative as you want, but obviously it would be really lovely if you could be really detailed. So whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. Now, I literally just went over that line just to make it a little bit darker for you to see, okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start playing around with some shapes, and actually I'd like to bring some more flowers within it. So I'm going to bring in a circular shape there. Okay, and that's going to be a middle of a flower. I'm going to bring that flower all the way to the edge of 4-3. And I'm going to do the same this side, except obviously it's going to be in 2-3. I say obviously because I'm talking about symmetry. So we're working on the other side. Okay, and then I'm going to bring the petal into there, and I'm going to bring the petal into there. So that's the start of my wing. Okay. So I'm going to bring some honeycomb back into it, and I'm going to bring the honeycomb up here. So let's start, let's find a space to work with. So I'm going to start with it here. I can neaten this up afterwards, like I say. I'm going to leave a little gap. Okay. Gone quiet on you because of concentrating. Okay, and I'm going to bring one there as well. Okay, and then what I'm going to put that the other side in a moment, okay, but then what I'm going to do is, let's have a think, what can I do here? I'm going to have another flower, but I'm trying to think about where to put it. So composition and placement is really important in art because it needs to be aesthetically pleasing. So I'm going to put the middle of my flower there, And I'm on the edge of the head there. So I'm using that line that we made right at the beginning. So even with this actual flower, I'm being symmetrical with the flower as well. And I think what I'll do is I'll bring a circle in the middle there, and I'm going to bring a circular theme around it as well. Okay. And I'm going to bring little circles into there. And then I'm going to come back to the flower, bring in some smaller details. And I'm going to bring in some more details into the honeycomb as well. And all I'm doing is I'm bringing a smaller hexagon inside the ones I've already drawn, just to give it a little bit more interest. Everything that I'm doing now I'm going to do afterwards to the other side. Okay, so I'm going to bring that there. Go over that slightly to darken it so you can see it. I've missed that one there, let's bring that in. There we go. Right, I'm going to stop there, but you kind of get the gist of what I'm doing. So what you need to do is you need to go over the eyes. So we're a bit of a recap here. So you're going to go over the eyes, the eyebrows, the nose and the mouth. You're going to go over that in biro, not fine liner. You're then going to choose a symmetrical insect, and you are going to draw that in pencil on the grid that you've already got. So you've seen how I've done this. Whatever I have done to one side, I have done to the other side. But before I started drawing, I worked out where I wanted to place things. I worked out where I wanted the wings to be. When I have finished speaking to you, I'm actually going to do what I've done this side to the other side, okay? And I'm going to be looking at where I've placed things. I'm going to place them in the same way. So when you see this next time, you will see that this drawing will be finished, okay? So that will be that side as well. But also what I would like you to do is to then go over that in biro as well, okay? So next time you see this page, your next lesson, I will be sitting here with this, but with the completed B, and this B will be done in the black biro, okay? Don't be rubbing anything out, okay, in terms of the grid and the outline of everything. Keep it all there. But the only thing at the end of this lesson that you should have in biro are the eyes, eyebrows, nose, mouth, and whatever insect you've drawn, okay? In terms of the outline of the head, the ears, the neck, leave them in pencil and leave the grid where it is, okay? That's the end of lesson number 2. Enjoy.